Hi, my name is Andrew Legrand. I'm a business attorney at the Sparrow Law Group in New Orleans, Louisiana, and today's short video is about the difference between an S-corp and an LLC. You see a lot of news topics or articles on the webs about whether or not you as an entrepreneur should choose an LLC or an S-corp, and I hate those because they're really asking the wrong question. An LLC and an S-corp are not things that you need to choose between. It's not one or the other. An LLC is a state court legal entity, whereas a S-corp is a federal tax filing. So let's look a little bit at the differences between those two. So your business is always going to have two different statuses, a legal status and a tax status. And as part of that, it's going to have to pick a combination of one of these two things. And every business has this. There's some more complex things that we're not going to get into today, like B Corps or L3Cs. But for the most part, the vast majority of businesses are going to have one of these legal statuses. And on the right side, they're all going to have one of these federal tax statuses. So let's look at the correlation between them. The first is sole proprietorship. This is pretty rare, but if you're a kid and you go start a lemonade stand without forming an LLC and you start buying lemons, which is an expense, and then selling cups, which is revenue, you are a sole proprietorship. You are by default operating under this legal status of sole proprietorship, and you're going to be taxed as a sole proprietorship. If you do it with your best friend, your legal status is a partnership and your tax status is going to be a partnership. We don't see those a whole lot these days simply because LLCs have made it so easy to set up. Now, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. The LLC can actually be all four of these different things. How does that happen? If you form an LLC and don't do anything about your federal tax status and the LLC is owned by one person, you're going to be taxed as a sole proprietorship. It's going to be a pass-through entity, which means that the income and expenses pass through the LLC and go to your own Schedule C, and it's going to be taxed just as if you were legally a sole proprietorship. Partnership is very similar. It's the same thing. If there's two people in the LLC, it's not a sole proprietorship, it's a partnership. So sole proprietorship is one person, partnership is two people by default. Now, a limited liability company can elect to be taxed as an S corporation or a C corporation. The C corporation is pretty rare, so really what we see is the S corporation tax status. And that is where you file a form, a 2553, with the IRS that indicates I would like for this business to be taxed as an S corporation. And there are certain tax benefits and advantages that we're not going to go into here. But the distinction is that legally you can be a limited liability company and still be taxed as an S corp. So people say, is it one or the other? It's not really one or the other. It's if you set up as a limited liability company from the beginning, you have all four of these options available to you as the business continues to grow. When we look at the other entities that come into play, a corporation can only be an S corporation or a C corporation, and a nonprofit is a nonprofit. So these are all how the different legal statuses and tax statuses play together, interact with one another. And as you can see when we look at these charts, that really the LLC is the clear winner because it gives you the most flexibility in your particular tax status. So if you're just starting a business or you're wondering, hey, what's one of the benefits of a limited liability company? It really is this variety of tax status options you get to choose from.